And to South Africa now, where President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on political parties to find common ground after the ruling African National Congress lost its long-standing majority in national elections. The party has dominated South Africa since the end of apartheid, but must now seek coalition partners. Some rival parties say they will only deal with the ANC if Ramaphosa stands down.
The Electoral Commission of South Africa declares the results of the 2024 national and provincial elections as free and fair.
The end of the election period and the start of a new era in South Africa, an era of coalition government at national level. While the ruling African National Congress has secured more votes than its rivals, it doesn't have the majority to lead the country on its own.
What this election has made plain is that the people of South Africa expect their leaders to work together to meet their needs. They expect the parties for which they have voted to find common ground, to overcome their differences, to act and work together for the good of everyone.
Political parties will spend the next few days discussing potential coalition agreements, meaning recent foes will have to become fast friends.
We've heard about two scenarios in that, either ANC, DA, IFP as the most favorable one in terms of stabilizing the country and stabilizing markets, and we've heard about the ANC, EFF, MK. But remember, MK's got a precondition: no Ramaphosa. We don't. If there's a Ramaphosa there, we don't talk. If Ramaphosa is not there, we talk to the ANC.
Many parties have already made it clear they'll have strict terms and conditions before joining hands with the ANC.
But there are certain fundamental things that you know that these are deal breakers. For instance, the issue of land is not something that you can compromise on. But we'll go and engage, open-minded kind of an engagement, and then we'll take it from there.
Political analysts say the ANC will also have to consider what impact the deal would have on both domestic and foreign policy.
Inside the party, do leaders agree on the direction that the party should take or the posture that the party should adopt? On the other side, there are what we may term national interests. Who are the external players who carry quite weighty legitimacy, such as business, civil society, international community, who will be putting pressure to political parties?
As the Electoral Commission wraps up its work, political parties enter the next phase. They have just 14 days within which to form the national and provincial governments. Some say this is a very short time for parties who have significant ideological differences to reach an agreement.
Here's to the next 30.
Regardless of who gets the upper hand, the general feeling in the country is that South Africa's democracy is the main winner in this election.
And for more on that, let's now speak to Milton Nkosi. He's a senior research fellow at the think tank Africa-Asia Dialogues. He's also a former BBC News Africa bureau chief. Milton, a historic loss for the ANC there, without a doubt, after 3 decades in power. What's behind this?
So what happened is that in the last few years of ANC governance, Gerhard, the party has seen a huge decline in many areas, particularly at local government levels, at the municipal level on services. People felt like the government was not giving them the services they needed because the ANC has been so dominant in the last 3 decades. They've been controlling municipalities and provinces and, of course, nationally. And the corruption scandals that have actually besotted the organization and the internal squabbles, the infighting within the ANC. And now we see all these splits from the African National Congress, the oldest liberation movement on the African continent. That is what is behind this dramatic drop in this election.
Now, some potential coalition partners say they won't even negotiate with the ANC if President Ramaphosa stays in power. Why are they so opposed to him?
There are splits within the ANC, as Jacob Zuma has shown that he has broken away and started his own party. And there are many others who left before him. People formed COPE, the Congress of the People, and Julius Malema with the EFF, he left the ANC as well. In fact, he was kicked out. So people are playing to the internal divisions, which still exists in some form within the ANC. There's a group within the ANC known as the Radical Economic Transformation. And those people have got some of their comrades in the new Zuma party, the Mkhonto weSizwe party. So that is what they are playing at. So the EFF are saying, well, we would like to come in. The Zuma party says, we would like to come in as long as you don't have Cyril Ramaphosa as your leader. But Cyril Ramaphosa came into this election as the most important and most popular figure within the ANC. He was more popular than the ANC itself.
Now, what's the most likely coalition you see being formed?
That's $1 million question. Very hard to answer, very much unpredictable. But take this arithmetic, Gerhard. You've got the ANC at 40. They dropped quite tremendously, as it's widely reported, but they still emerged as the largest single political party in the country in this election. And the second one is a long second, is the Democratic Alliance, the DA. They are at 22%. Now, if you add 40% plus 22%, in my simple arithmetic, it gives me 62%. That means 62% of the country is more center orientated in the political spectrum. And if you look at the Zuma sweeping, Zuma got his party received 15% of the vote this time, and is their first time in an election. That simply tells you that 85% of the country does not follow Zuma's Mkhonto weSizwe party. And that is where the dynamics of the coalition lies. You've got to see who's stronger where, who's weaker where. And the implications are that some of the deals will actually cascade down to provinces and municipalities. You'd have to agree at national level that if you take someone and they look for demands, they might demand that you give them some executive mayorships or premierships at a local government level.
Milton Nkosi there, the Senior Research Fellow at the Africa-Asia Dialogues. Many thanks for sharing your expertise with us.